Hello, Pearland ISD teachers and campus instructional staff. First, let me express the thanks of an entire grateful community. Also our school board, our administration, for all you have done this past year, and especially during this strange pandemic experience. Never have we heard as many thanks and encouragement about the work that you do. Their thanks are for many things, but mainly because they have seen you being there for their children, while also managing your own life in the midst of these difficulties. In my view, the pandemic period beginning after spring break and continuing through the end of the school year was one grand experiment in terms of figuring out optimum ways of reaching students through distance learning. I think we all learned a lot about video conferencing do's and don'ts. I certainly did, and about the advantages and limitations of learning management software, the utility of communicating through Skyward, email, other modalities, both pros and cons. With the likely requirement for social distancing remaining during next school year, it's critical for us to figure out the best way to deliver instruction and to hold ourselves accountable for their learning. For obvious reasons, we can't continue to simply grade on a pass-fail basis. We can't just hope for the best in terms of ensuring student attendance and active participation. And we can't continue to use 4 or 5 or more learning software platforms when parents are our active partners in their children's learning and need our help. We are in the midst of planning for 3 different scenarios, all of which are distinct possibilities for next school year. They are as follows. 1, a new normal whereby all students come to school every day with some form of social distancing in place. Obviously, this would be the nicest. 2, distance learning only for the periods of time when campuses are required to be closed, because that's basically what we had to go through the last 9 weeks. And 3, a hybrid system whereby we mitigate social distancing requirements by a mixture of on-campus and distance learning combined. I'm most excited about this third option because it can be developed not only when absolutely required, but as a way of adding or expanding the technological capabilities we want or for everyday use. In short, we want to create a seamless system whereby students and teachers utilize technology on campus, and they are integrated so well that when the students are at home, they can use the technology with ease and without much guidance. I've asked our very large Return to School Committee to focus our attention on what the absolutely neediest kids and families need. If we're able to help them, then it is highly likely that our system will be working for all. For this to happen, we believe every child needs similar technology, i.e. a tablet at this point, and access to the internet. So we've begun talking with the board about a quick but very expensive move towards one-to-one computing, issuing every student in our district a tablet. Now, this is in the formative stages. It's not even clear yet whether all of that can be afforded, both in terms of the machine cost and in terms of the personnel to support it. This would require iPads for grades pre-K through 2 and a laptop or tablet for grades 3 through 12. Preliminary estimates are already at about $11 million for just the machines, to say nothing of the additional cost for personnel to maintain, repair, and replace them. We're working on all of that right now, and we'll be presenting to the board in late June what we think we can afford and what is practical for the coming year. No guarantees, but I believe that this blended learning model, which is essentially the de facto thing that's going on in higher ed, will become more of a responsible state of affairs here in our K through 12 schools. So my thought is to try and do it better than everyone else, just as we have strived to do in our conventional education efforts over these past several years. Your role in this grand endeavor may be different. Some teachers in core subjects that are standard across the district may be asked to help develop video lessons. Other teachers may use those lessons and supplement them with more individualized help to those students who need it. We may need to establish online video conferences whereby teachers check in on their homebound students to work individually or in groups with struggling students and so on. What are some of the likely realities that are coming our way? There will be families afraid to place their children in the public schools. They may require 100% distance learning regardless of what we think is best for their particular child. And they're entitled to think that, and it's our job to support it as we can. There will be families who say, full speed ahead, forget about that social distancing stuff. That type of parent whose most important question might be, when is the first football game? But between those two extremes are most folks. They're in the middle, wanting a safe experience for their children and demanding that effective instruction happens both on campus and, if and when necessary, through distance learning. I am very confident that what we develop here and what you teach our kids in the coming year will once again place us in the forefront of higher student achievement. One obvious lesson from history is that crises and difficulties are the things which generally produce the greatest ingenuity and forward progress. As an example, just as America was forced to gear up and transform their entire economy and their production means to face the threats of World War II way back there in 1942, we will triumph here. We will meet this challenge, this crisis. We'll do great things we have never done before and in record time. I know you are up to the challenge. I know God has His guiding hand on our school district. Let us meet this new challenge with excitement and perseverance and realize we are preparing a generation, an entire generation, for their best destiny. May God bless every one of you, the children given to our care, the parents who send them to us, and the community that supports us. Thank you. Bye for now.